Genesis and welcome to my channel. Today I want to share my PCOS journey, how I was diagnosed, the struggles I've faced, and the changes I've made to take control of my health. I know how overwhelming it can be to live with PCOS, but I want to remind you that it's completely manageable with the right mindset and lifestyle changes. I was 19 when I got diagnosed and I'm currently 21. It all started after I stopped taking birth control. At first everything was fine, but then the symptoms started showing. I had everything under the sun: acne, hair loss, cysts in my ovaries, cysts in my breasts, body acne, weight gain, facial hair, and since I hadn't gotten my period in 8 months, I was very concerned. Eventually, I decided to seek help and I was diagnosed with PCOS. At first, it felt like a lot to process. I was very scared. I had seen TikToks about PCOS before and it seemed like something I wouldn't want to have. The doctors had told me that with PCOS, I would most likely become obese and gain a lot of acne. When I first got diagnosed, my symptoms were still very mild, and I was mainly just concerned that I hadn't had my period. So when she told me that I would become obese and have uncontrollable acne, I started freaking out. I went home, I cried that day. My mom told me, "Don't worry, we'll get another opinion, maybe they're wrong." So we went to a different doctor, we got blood tests done, and in fact, my testosterone levels were high. When it was confirmed that I had PCOS, I had so many questions and I didn't know who to ask. I wanted to know how to manage my conditions and what it meant for my health long term. It seemed like every doctor, every YouTube video, every TikTok had a different opinion. Interestingly, research shows that it can take a woman multiple years to receive a proper diagnosis for PCOS. So I feel pretty lucky that I was diagnosed quickly and at a fairly young age. The confusion of PCOS in the medical world leads to a lot of doctors treating the symptoms and not the actual cause. That is why most women end up never really reversing their PCOS. Most doctors won't even tell you what the root cause of PCOS is. And I'm sure a lot of doctors don't know what the root cause of PCOS is. I had to learn that myself. PCOS stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome, but it was unfortunately misnamed because during the time that they named it, there wasn't enough information about the illness. Although you could have cysts in your ovaries and have PCOS, you could also have PCOS without having cysts in your ovaries. As well as having cysts in your ovaries doesn't mean that you have PCOS. In general, although we don't have a clear definition of what PCOS really is, it is just hormonal imbalance caused by many things. But it has one root cause, and that is hyperinsulinemia, which is insulin resistance. Additionally, PCOS has a strong genetic component. That being that the level of PCOS, or the chance of you even getting PCOS, is strongly correlated to the microbiome health and overall health of your mother during the time you were in the womb. So basically, your mother's diet can affect if you end up with PCOS. Initially, I thought I could just stay in a calorie deficit and eat whatever I wanted. But I quickly learned that the quality of food I was eating was doing me the most harm. I kept eating 1,500 calories, and yet I saw my body change and I was gaining so much weight so rapidly that I lowered it down to 1,400 and I kept gaining weight. And I lowered it down to 1,300 and I still kept gaining weight. And I could not understand how it is that everyone else could eat normally and maintain their weight. And I felt like I was starving myself and I was constantly hungry and I just kept gaining weight. I've always been a fairly thin person, so I was very uncomfortable in my body. In the end, I learned that being insulin resistant means that you retain all that sugar and your body will not lose fat. In fact, you will gain fat because insulin promotes fat storage. If your insulin levels are not balanced, it will increase your hunger and cravings, especially for sugar. This being said, I felt very unattractive and overweight. I was so embarrassed to leave my house. I was embarrassed to show my face, take pictures, leading me to stop going to the gym because I didn't want people to see that I've been going to the gym for so long and I'm getting worse. Very big mistake. One thing that helps insulin resistance the most is muscles. Your muscles will balance your blood sugar levels because they'll use the sugar in your blood as fuel. And by stopping going to the gym, one, it's giving me more free time to just eat more and just think about my cravings. Two, I'm losing all the muscle I had. It was a tough mental battle, but I knew I had to overcome those feelings to get better. At the beginning stages, I struggled a lot with binge eating, especially when it came to sugary foods. I had strong cravings. If I had one sweet treat, I'd spiral out of control and I'd go crazy eating. Breaking that cycle was hard, but it was a crucial part to getting better. I wish someone had told me that PCOS was not as bad as doctors made it seem. After leaving the doctors and them telling me all that stuff about the acne and the weight gain, as well as telling me that since I'm not getting my period, I'm infertile, and I will most likely not be able to have babies without their help, I wish somebody would have told me at the time that it was not that deep, and that everything was going to be fine, and that it was completely reversible. This is not something I was going to be suffering with for the rest of my life. I wasn't going to hate the way I live for the rest of my life. That's why I'm here today, to help you guys understand so that you don't have to go through what I did. PCOS is completely manageable and reversible, but you have to focus on addressing the root cause of the problem, not just the symptoms. Every doctor I went to did not focus on helping me reverse my PCOS. They all recommended I took birth control. They explained that birth control would help me get my period. And for a while I believed them and I went back on it. That was a bad mistake. It reversed the little progress that I had done. Luckily I knew how to get back on track once I found out that the birth control wasn't doing anything for me. One thing you need to know is that birth control will not give you your period. You may bleed on birth control. It will just be a side effect of the pills working with your hormones. But you are not ovulating. You are not releasing an egg. You are not having an actual period. So if a gynecologist tells you that you need to go on birth control because you have PCOS and it will help regulate your period, just know that you are not actually getting your period on birth control. It is not actually regulating your period because you cannot have a real period on birth control. Doesn't matter what a gynecologist tells you. Please do your research. If I would have listened to my gynecologist, I would still have PCOS today. So I decided to take matters into my own hands and focus on my health. I read countless books, articles, YouTube videos, TikToks, all the research I could do, I did it. And at the end, I came to understand that the most important thing I could do for myself was change my diet. Being in a calorie deficit will not make up for the bad food I was eating. It will not make up for the amount of sugar I was eating on a daily. If I ate 1,500 calories, but 500 out of the 1,500 was a crumble cookie, I was just spiking my blood sugar and I was just making my insulin resistance worse, and I was just gaining more weight and losing more hair and getting more pimples. To try and make up for the weight gain, I decided to take up running. I joined many run clubs and I was running almost every day. I ended up getting even more swollen and gaining even more weight. I didn't understand that by doing such harsh exercise on a daily, I was just spiking my cortisol levels and highering my testosterone. I'm not a man, and I should not exercise like one. I started to learn about my cycle and how you need different exercises and different foods and different parts of your cycle. At first I was confused because how could I track my cycle and help myself get better if I was not getting my period? So I decided to just start focusing on my food, the quality of food I was eating. Make sure that everything I was eating was one ingredient, whole foods. Try to make it organic, avoid seed oils, avoid refined sugars. And at first, I tried to avoid all sugars, even fruit, just to get over the need to have something sweet. And I believe that really helped. I even cut out dairy. I started doing low impact workouts like walking and lifting weights but not pushing myself too hard. These changes were confusing in the beginning because I didn't know if I was doing the right thing or making it worse. But with consistency, it all paid off. Eventually, I got my period and I was able to start cycle syncing. My workouts, my food. I cannot tell you how important it is to eat and live according to your cycle. It will help fuel your body in the ways that it needs. And it will help maintain a steady and consistent cycle that will come at the same time every month. If you're dealing with PCOS, my biggest advice is to focus on healing your body from the inside out. Once your gut microbiome is healthy and happy, you will start feeling healthy and happy. From now on, stop having empty carbs. Always have your carbs after having protein or fats, or accompany your carbs with protein and fats. If you're gonna eat an apple, eat it with peanut butter. Learn to control your blood sugar, and you will see the difference. The weight will start falling off. The pimples will go away. You'll stop losing your hair. Be patient. Don't rely on quick fixes like birth control and Ozempic. It's all about creating a sustainable lifestyle that works for you. Start with small changes and be patient with yourself. Your body needs time to adjust. You might not see or feel the changes right away. Also, don't let PCOS define you. You're so much more than the condition, and you're fully capable of taking control of your health. Thank you so much for watching and letting me share my story, and stay tuned because I will definitely be posting more PCOS content. If you're going through something similar or have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. And if this video helped you in any way, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe for more PCOS content, healthy living, real estate, and my personal journey. See you next video.